Six Tudor Queens, Katherine Parr, the Sixth Wife, Part 2. Today I want to talk about the sixth book in the series Six Tudor Queens, Katherine Parr, the Sixth Wife by Alison Weir. This video has been broken into two parts because it is so long. The first part of this review came out last week. This video will be the fifth in a series covering Alison Weir's Six Tudor Queen books and her other historical novels. I love Alison Weir as an author of both historical fiction and historical biographies. In the first part of this review, we covered Katharine's early life and her first two marriages. Now we move on to the second part of the book, which I hoped would be more interesting, about her marriage to King Henry. Katherine and Henry's courtship is very sweet. Henry is extremely attentive, but Katherine is wrestling with the dilemma of marrying Henry or Tom. Of course Henry wins the fight completely unaware of Tom's interest in his soon-to-be bride. I was hoping for a little bit more male rivalry and peacocking. Katharine's wedding to Henry was fun to read about because you get the same event in Anna of Clifford's book and Innocent Traitor. I love reading multiple perspectives on the same event, but the wedding was generally unexciting, as was Katharine's wedding night. Katharine's meeting with Mary and Elizabeth was fun, especially seeing Mary's complete conviction that Elizabeth is not Henry's child, but it doesn't get investigated enough for my liking. I know Alison Weir is writing a book about the Lady Mary, which should be out in the next few years, so I cannot wait to see what she does with it. Katherine is a good stepmother and helps Henry's disjointed family feel whole, but it is a very dull read. And of course, Katherine continues to be a good stepmother to Margaret. Unfortunately, however, Margaret has caught tuberculosis from her father and has a very slow, painful death, which deeply affects Katherine. There is, of course, the Anne Askew trials, which I hoped would liven up the book, but they affect Katharine's ladies far more than her, and I was disappointed by the lack of drama. The same goes for the Bishop Gardiner arrest warrant chapter. I was hoping for a little bit of overlap with the Innocent Traitor, and was very disappointed that there wasn't any. Was anybody else looking forward to this overlap as much as I was? Henry's campaign in France was also a bit lackluster. I thought Katherine would have a mini success story about being regent. Instead, she spent the whole time worried about a letter she wrote to Henry being too Protestant. Katherine does have a little success when it comes to inserting Henry's daughters back into the line of succession, but apart from that, not much else happens. Henry's health has been gradually going downhill since his marriage to Katherine. He knows his days are numbered, so he tells Katherine privately that she will be regent after he is dead, but then he never mentions it again, and poor naive Katherine takes his word as being written in stone. When Henry leaves Katherine to go away and die, Katherine is willingly blind to the fact that he is being isolated until it is far too late and Henry is dead and Hertford has power. For all her learning, Katherine Parr is very naive here, and it bugged me as uncharacteristic. After Henry's death, Katherine is the Dowager Queen with very little power. Despite this, though, she is very, very rich, and eagerly anticipating Thomas Seymour making his move to claim her. But he doesn't, and she decides that Tom is waiting for a decent period of mourning to pass before he starts the chase, like Tom Seymour waited a decent time for anything in his life. This part of the book just goes to show how little Katherine actually knows Tom. As soon as Tom starts the chase, it is wham bam secret wedding plan. What I did like about the secret wedding was getting to see Marjorie Seymour again, and seeing her fondly reminisce about Jane. When the news about the secret wedding breaks, the person most hurt by it is the Lady Mary, who leaves Katharine's household never to return. Edward and Nan Seymour are also outraged, and decide to show their displeasure by keeping firm hold of the Queen's jewels. It is all very petty. Tom Seymour is the king of petty, though. Even when Ned offers him an olive branch, he is too proud to accept it. This is when Katherine starts to see the real Tom. He is impatient and can be violent when thwarted. He also has no concept of danger and is incurably jealous of any man Katherine speaks to. Katherine brushes it off, though, telling herself it is because Tom loves her so much he acts like this. Marry in haste, repent at leisure. Am I right, girls? Then there is the small matter of the Lady Elizabeth, who is still living with Katherine, and it is very obvious that Elizabeth has a crush on Tom. Then Cat Ashley starts complaining about Tom entering Elizabeth's bedroom early in the morning and tickling her. Katherine brushes it all aside as Tom's high spirits, even the gown-cutting incident. I was really hoping for some overlap here with the Lady Elizabeth. Unfortunately, we did not get it, and I was disappointed. Towards the end of the book, Katherine is baby crazy and states more than once this is why she married Tom so fast. She was scared of missing her last fertility window. When Katherine does become pregnant, she is overjoyed but very sick and tired all the time. She is also upset by the fact that she and Tom cannot have sex while she is carrying the child. That is when the jealousy of Elizabeth starts, and Katherine can smell a rat. She expects some infidelity from Tom while she is pregnant, but not with her own stepdaughter in her own home. Katherine catches Tom and Elizabeth kissing in the garden and confronts them. That is when Elizabeth throws it all in her face that Tom wanted to marry her or Mary before Katherine, due to their proximity to the throne. This, more than anything, nags at Katherine after she sends Elizabeth away. Then Katherine has her baby and is disappointed it is not a boy. She also didn't expect labour to be so bad. She has some complications after the birth and wants to see a doctor, but Tom won't hear of it because it is unseemly for her to see a man. And then we get Katherine's slow decline, which is very similar to the death of Jane Seymour, apart from the fact Katherine is delirious for most of it. I give this book 4 out of 10. It is the only Alison Weir book I have put down and not wanted to pick up again. It is just very dull. Every time I thought something exciting would happen, it didn't. Alison Weir took a lot of poetic license when it came to Anna of Cleffa and Catherine Howard, so why could she not add a little razzle dazzle to this story? And, as I said earlier, the lack of overlap with her earlier works let me down. I am very much looking forward to reading Alison Weir's next book about Elizabeth of York. There should be far more for her to work with in that story. This is the end of this book review. If you enjoyed it, like, comment and subscribe so you will not miss Anne Boleyn, The King's Obsession review, which will be my next Alison Weir book to cover. You can also check out my Alison Weir playlist, where I have covered many of her other books. You can also follow me on Instagram, @Lady Jessica Riddell. Until next time, remember to be useful in all that you do.